So I wanted to share with you some things that I've been learning myself as I'm going through this amazing training by Dana Wilde called Train Your Brain. And I just know that personally, I was raised in a Christian home with a very loving mom and dad that were very super supportive and encouraging. And I know that that has built a strong foundation in who I am today. And for some of you, maybe you have the same background and maybe you don't. I realize that not everybody thinks positively. And so I want to go over how does that look? Do I think positively or do I think negatively on a daily basis? And if you think negatively, how we can change that. So, number one, how do you think? Are you thinking positively or negatively? When something goes wrong, let's just say, for instance, somebody calls you and says, "Oh, Ashley, I'm sorry. I can't hold my party. Nobody's going to show, blah, blah, blah." What's the first thing that you think in your brain? "Oh, that stinks. That's just one more party that I can't get on my books. Nobody wants to party with me. I'll never get another booking, blah, blah, blah." Do you think that in your brain? But just don't say it out loud, of course, right? Or do you think to yourself, "Oh, that poor lady, I'm sorry. Maybe something's going on in her life and maybe she'll book another time." Who wouldn't want to party with me? Of course it's not personal. So do you give everybody the benefit of the doubt, or is it more of a negative thought? If you're thinking about promoting, for instance, are you thinking, "Oh, I could never do that. I could never promote that. That's only for, the really confident and really successful people. That's not me." Or I can do that. I can do that if I put my mind to it and I'm, very intentional about working my business. Which way do you think? Are you thinking negative or positive? So just let that set in for a minute. I had this tip given to me one time, and I don't remember where it was from, but it said, don't think things to yourself that you wouldn't say out loud to somebody. For instance, like you look in the mirror and you're like, "Oh, it's not a good hair day for you, Ashley." You wouldn't say that to your friend, would you? No, so don't say that to yourself. Try and think positively. Another example is the unconscious and the conscious brain. So this is something that Dana Wilde goes over, and it was really enlightening to me. So the unconscious brain is the one that's blinking and the one that's breathing and things that we just don't have to naturally think about to happen. The conscious brain is the one that we're thinking about, I got to swing by the grocery store today and I got to pick up this, this, and this before I get home, and I got to cook the dinner, and I've got to make sure I get the raw chicken out of the freezer and put it in my bag so don't forget about it. Those kind of things. Like, we think all the time. So I think about a newborn baby, right? They don't know how to walk, right? But as they reach that 12th month or right around there, they start learning how to walk. And at first, they have to think about it, right? It's not natural. They have to think about putting one foot in front of the other. And after time, guess what? They don't have to think about it anymore. I mean, you and I don't really think about putting one foot in front of the other to go to the fridge, right? We just don't think about that. So unconscious and conscious brain. And what I'm learning is if you can train your unconscious brain to think positively, that is a win-win. That's what we want. You don't even want to have to think about it, but it's going to take some time getting there. Okay? So the second thing is, how do we think positively? Our emotions are generated by a thought. And so that's really, really important to think about. Let's do an experiment for kicks and giggles. I want you to close your eyes for just a minute. I know, bear with me, right? Experiment with just thinking about something that in the last week or last month, a struggle in your life that is not so good. I mean, we all have our struggles, right? Maybe a job loss, maybe somebody's sick, something that just doesn't make you feel good. And you close your eyes and you think about it, you start to feel these emotions. And Dana Wilde says, Do you feel them like on your shoulders? Do you feel like you're heavy and like burdened? Do you feel it like in the pit of your stomach where it just like makes you wrestle with it? Those are emotions, and any thought can bring about emotion. And I'm sure you guys all kind of know what I'm thinking, where I'm going with this. Now, if you think about your happy place, just close your eyes and think about like your happy place. For me, it's like I like cuddling with my husband at the end of the day when it's like, oh, this is just so nice. We get to just relax. Or going on vacation and just sitting on the beach and feeling the warmth over my body. Or for some people, it's taking a hot bath at the end of the day without any kids. Right? So wherever that happy place is, you should start to feel emotion. And it should be a happy emotion. So the next time you have something bad that happens to you, let's just say somebody calls you and cancels a party, or whatever the case may be, okay? You want to try and go to your happy place. Think of those emotions and try to train your brain to go towards the positive. So you say, oh, that's okay. It's going to work itself out. Or I'm already feeling better. Once you have that like happy moment thought, right? Or I can do this. Just start thinking those positive things in your brain, even when it's not natural. And before long, it's going to become second nature. Isn't that crazy? It just like a baby walking and learning how to walk, eventually it becomes second nature. And so you don't have to really think about it anymore. You just say, you know what? I'm a rock star. I can do this. It's going to make all of the world of a difference. So there's this little cycle. It says, what we think determines what we believe. What we believe determines how we feel. And the way that we feel influences the way that we act. So it's this big cycle, right? So it's really important to know what we're thinking and why we're thinking it. The other thing is that I want to ask you, and answer this honestly to yourself, do you believe in yourself? Some of you, like I said, might have been raised in a home where you are totally positively, influenced and encouraged your entire life, like myself. Maybe some of you were verbally abused and you didn't even realize it. You don't know how other people on your team or whatever, how they're thinking. So some people might be thinking, oh, I can never do that, I can never do this, I can never, and they just talk to themselves that way. But if you train yourself to say, you know what, I can do this. The verse that comes to mind, because I am a Christian, I believe in Jesus Christ, Philippians 4, and I recite it to myself all the time. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So whatever it is for you that makes you feel like you can do it, that you've got it all together. And my mom used to say this all the time. You can do anything you put your mind to. If you work hard enough, you can do anything that you put your mind to. So I've always said that, when we went for that promotion last month, of course, there was like those doubts, but I wanted to push through it and say, you know what, we can do this. We can do this. We can do this. And look at you guys, you did it, right? So there's something about remaining positive that is powerful. And here's the last thing. Repetition plays a humongous role in making a thought in your unconscious mind. So let me say that again. Repetition plays a big role in making a thought in your unconscious mind. So if you repeat over and over again, I can do this. I can do anything I put my mind to if I work hard. If you keep on repeating that to yourself and believe it, eventually start to believe it, positive things are going to happen. And there is science behind that, guys. I highly encourage you, look into Dana Wild's Train Your Brain. It was amazing, and I'm still going through it and learning so much as a leader even. I love to absorb new information and just constantly sharpen my mind on things, and I encourage you to also. But repetition is giving consent to a belief. So if you repeat it enough, you're going to start to believe it. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I know for me, this has been a game changer in the way that I think and the way that I act. So I hope that the rest of this team meeting goes just really positively and that you get something from it. Thank you guys so much.